Alright, so the whole sloppy neck fit I was not a huge fan of that I saw last night. So my body template, there's definitely a bit of a gap there on both sides of the neck. So I figure if I can put a little, which I've done before, take a little sliver is what I was planning on doing. I sanded this down on the spindle sander, and I was just going to clamp that in there and then clean it up just to get a little bit tighter fit on the neck. But the more I started thinking about it, I thought, well, maybe if I take one of the cutoffs of this was part of this block of maple, I rounded the corner of that, so I figure if I can cut a sliver off of that, because I didn't like how that little shim, about 35 thousandths or so thick, I didn't like how that was fitting in there to glue it. I didn't like how it ended before the radius there, and then I was going to have to try to figure out a way to fill that. So I figure if I go ahead and just take a little bit of a, well, again, about 35 thousandths is all I really need off the end of that, then I can butt that all the way up in and hopefully have a better looking fill strip there, which, being on the bottom side of the neck, that's not going to be noticeable anyway. And again, we're talking something that's about 35 thousandths thick, so it'll never be noticed or seen. But yeah, whenever you're dealing with using existing templates for a neck pocket that I would normally be making my own neck using this template. So knowing that my neck template is actually just a bit large, which allows me some final sanding on the neck to get it to fit really nice and snug in the neck pocket based on my templates. That's how I normally operate. So I probably should have lined, in hindsight, probably should have lined the inside edge of my template with a couple layers of tape, even in aluminum tape or something, just to give something a little firmer than a standard tape. Man, it's cold in here today. I haven't put the wood pellet stove on yet. So I gotta rip a little sliver of this off and then probably do some sanding and then see if I can get it to fit in there. And then I'll use a flush cut saw and trim it all to fit, hopefully. And hopefully it'll work. All right, let's see. Okay, well, that's more than enough thickness there. So I've got, well, maybe it'll focus. Hello. Maybe not. So anyway, I gotta flush cut that off. Japanese flush cut saw. Okay. Man, my nose is running as you can probably see. Yeah, that's much nicer. So, let's see here. That should hopefully glue up nicely in there. It's got a little bit of a curve on the back of it. It's going to have to be sanded down way thinner, but at least that'll allow me to get that taken care of, hopefully. Just having a little moment here as I was trying to get this little bit sanded to thickness. I thought, you already have one that's the right thickness. How about you just sand a little bit of a radius on the back end of it there, so it'll fit nice and snug up into the radius a little further. So that's what I did. So that should glue up nicely. I got it clamped in place just temporarily there. Now that's more of a shadow than an actual gap there, so that'll all be kind of cut back and rounded over and sanded flush anyway. So I think that will actually do the trick. Now glue it up and clamp it and hopefully be done with this little project. So anyway, I think that will work much better there with a little bit of glue and clamp. Okay. Plenty of glue. I glued the wrong side for a second. That would have been frustrating. Okay. Heck, barely need it clamped. It's looking pretty good, actually. But I'll clamp it anyway, just to be safe. The key is not clamping this too dang hard, because you can blow this whole side out of the neck pocket with too much pressure on that. So I'm trying to kind of go easy, but then have enough pressure to keep it in place. Okay, that should do the trick. Much better. Well, next time I'd use a couple layers of tape on my template and actually check the neck first, measurement wise. Oh well, you live and you learn. And again, and again. My goodness, that was probably a fun trip. So plenty of glue on it. I'll be able to flush cut that off the top and sand that all off, and yeah, that'll work. Wipe a little of that glue off first. Well, it'll be good as new.